Don't know what happened. We're live, I think. Something went weird. I don't know if anybody's waiting because gosh. There we go. Okay, sorry, my screen went weird. All right, I don't know if anybody's here because this is not my usual time. I did make a post earlier saying that I wasn't going to be streaming at my regular time. So if you're watching the playback, I appreciate that very much. I'm just going to see if it shows up on the screen there. And I'm trying something different. I'm trying to stream directly from YouTube. Hi, Sophia. So it is working. Thank you. Now I need to find it on my on my screen. I don't see it on my YouTube yet. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Marguerite. Yeah, I just got back from, I saw Mom this morning. She was doing okay. And yeah, so far so good. She's 88, so it's definitely, a struggle. Sorry, I'm still looking for my stream so I can read the comments from there. Is the sound okay? Oh, there we go. I found it. All right. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Kristen. So this is the page we did last week, and I grungified it. I added some Inktense, some sort of green Inktense, and some blocks and pencils, and then I used some Posca, black Posca, to kind of grungify it. I had recorded it, however, I was in process of editing when all this happened, so it didn't get edited, so I don't think it's gonna post. Hi, Kristen. Yeah, I posted that I would stream later, or I would cancel. So I am streaming later. Hi, Marty. Thanks, Sophia. My mom's doing okay, and I really appreciate all the well wishes that everybody shared on my Facebook posts and on my YouTube post. I'm just going to share out that I'm going live. I'm just going to say on live now. There we go. Just in case people were checking that. Yeah, so she's doing okay. Today she said, "Oh, what a bother." I said, "Yeah, you're not kidding. What a bother. Like, poor thing. She's just getting settled into long-term care, and then this happens. So hopefully now she'll remember to like push the button when she needs help." And I look like I'm a little bit crooked. Try to straighten that. All right. Hi, sister. Good to see you. All right. So I said in Dee Dee's stream that, yeah, I was hoping to go live because I need some art therapy. It's been a bit of a stressful time, and I miss being creative. I did go live on Lindy. Oh gosh, I'm blanking. Lindy K Designs on her channel on Saturday, and then early Sunday morning. That's when Mom fell and broke her hip. They call it hip, but really it's the femur. So the hip socket's like this, and this is the femur. So she broke it not here, but like on a spot where it's quite wide. So they fixed it. They fixed it. Okay, so let's do some art therapy mark making. So I don't know about you guys, but I find Zen doodling and mark making very therapeutic. So we're just going to have an easy peasy stream today, and we'll just start with some mark making on on the gel plate. Of course, you don't need a gel plate to do mark making, but it is something that I enjoy because it makes it sort of a little bit more distressed. And then I have an idea of something I might want to try, but we'll see how it's going. So if you're watching the replay, just zoom ahead till you see something happening. And my camera still looks funny. So I'm not using StreamYard today. I'm streaming directly on YouTube. So if it cuts out, oh, that reminds me, I forgot to do not disturb. Let me just see if I do it here. Because if I don't do not disturb and someone phones, then it's going to cut out. So I did it on my iPad. I think it shares it across my devices. So hopefully it'll be do not disturb here. And I have done different videos with mark making, and I've used like Sharpie. You can use permanent Sharpies. You can use alcohol markers. You can use Posca pens. You can use lots of things for mark making. So let's just start. Let's just make some marks and chat. So I'm just going to start making some dashes. And these could be used in collage papers. So I don't have to have the same mark across the whole plate. But because the Posca is a little bit watery, it does give like a distressed look. Whereas if I did it straight on paper, it wouldn't look that distressed. I'm just looking for a piece of paper that's handy. Here, we'll just use this piece of paper. So if I just did it on here, you know, it's a lot more solid. Here it's got like some bubbles in it. And can you guys still see me? Chat sort of stops. I don't know if that's just because you guys are just chilling out, working and lurking, which is great. There we go. So there's some dashes with the Posca pen. And where did I put the lid? Oh my goodness. I don't see the lid. Lid? Oh, there it is. Why would I put it way over there? All right, let's use some Sharpie permanent marker. And let's just do some lines. So I think with mark making, it's good to just kind of turn your brain off, and that's kind of what gets you in the zone. And I find it helps relieve anxiety. So Mom had her surgery on Monday. They took her at 7:30 p.m. She was in emergency since early Sunday morning. And when they took her, she was so sweet. She said, "But it's too late for surgery." In her mind, like 7:30, like that's bedtime. It's time to get ready for bed. Oh, why are you all over here like that, Marty? Okay. Let's see. Let's use. No, I'm just gonna stick with black for now. Are you talking about her broken hip? Yeah, I know. I didn't want to get too graphic about it, but she said today. She said it sure hurt when I fell on it. I'm like, I'm sure it did. I've never broken a bone, so I imagine it did, but I can't really, you know. Unfortunately, I can't know exactly because I haven't done that. So with the Poscas, you need to let them dry before you try to pick them up. You're intent on what I'm doing. Okay. So how's the image quality? This is directly from YouTube, not via StreamYard. So I'm hoping it's better focused. Looks pretty good on the screen. All right. So one of the things that, well, let's mark up another plate while that one's drying. One of the things I wanted to try was back in December, I think it was, Coleen, CK Art, she had sent me a link to Drew Steinberger, and he does a lot of jelly printing and stuff like that, and he used bubbles on the gel plate, and I've been meaning to do that. I just haven't really, well, I didn't even follow that. I just haven't really gotten to it, so I haven't practiced, but I thought we could try it together, combined with mark making, because I thought maybe that would be cool. And then maybe we could do a collage. One of the things Dee Dee Willingham was talking about today, or showing, was her magazine journals. So I thought maybe while it's drying, we could, I could show you guys the magazine journal I did quite a few years ago. Could do different types of marks in each of these little quadrants. So this is just with a Posca pen. So I'm not thinking too much. I'm just doing, letting my mind go blank-ish. Hi, Diane. Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot crisper than StreamYard. StreamYard's been really bugging me. Like, unless you pay for the extra service, it's not very good quality. So I don't know how long this stream's going to be today, so I thought, why not just try it? It's not my regular stream anyhow, so this is almost like Zentangling. Some of the fibers from the Posca are coming off on there. Hi, Apple. Thanks for coming, everybody. I know it's not my regular time, but I appreciate you hanging out with me. All right. So I thought we could try the bubbles over top of this, and then maybe it would distress it a bit more. So what he did was he took, on the gel plate, he just used the Dawn soap and water, but on paper he used like acrylic ink. So I thought, well, maybe it would be cool to use acrylic ink, because maybe it would add a bit more, an extra color. So I've got, this isn't acrylic ink, this is Bombay ink. I don't have a lot of acrylic inks. I have this one, which is very pink, but I think it's too light. So let's just use this Bombay ink, because it's a permanent ink. Emergency pantry restock. So I'm just putting, he said to put, so I'll link his channel below. So he said to put equal amounts of your ink and the Dawn detergent. And then he said to put twice as much water as you have. So there's the detergent. And then I'm going to pour some water. Not a lot though, just a bit. And then he did the thing where you dip, you can use like a bottle that's cut off, and then you put cheesecloth with elastic bands, and then you can use that to make bubbles. But he also used a straw, and he said he kind of preferred the straw. So I haven't done this before, so I got to take out my special sign. I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, so let's blow some bubbles. Maybe I have too much water, I don't know. I'm looking for and to keep it from being too watery. Oh, wait, wait, that's not gonna work. I gotta put paint on here first. Just scooch that. Don't pay attention to that. We're gonna put paint on and then do the bubbles. So let's do, not purple, because the bubbles are gonna be purple. Let's do this bright aqua green. And this is the Liquitex Basics fluid. So I know a lot of people have used bubbles to make collage papers, and I believe I've seen other thumbnails where people have used it on the Gelplate. I think Eddie might have done that, or Darcy. I don't remember, and I haven't watched it recently, so I'm just going by what Drew did. He didn't make marks first, so I'm kind of adding that as a layer of interest. So I'm just putting a little bit of this paint. All right, now let's do the bubbles. Yeah, so I've noticed that too, Margaret. When you do bubbles just on collage paper, it is just very pastel-y, like just on regular paper. So I'm hoping this is going to give us a texture in the paint, and then we're going to pick it up with a bright color so it's more vibrant. And he didn't use acrylic ink in his bubbles when he did it on the Gelplate, so I thought that might be fun to try. The other thing we could do is maybe just try water. I don't even know if this purple is going to show up. But we've got some pretty big bubbles. But you have to let it dry. So I visited Mom this morning. She was doing well. And then I took Lucy for a walk when I got home. Hey, April, did I say hi? I don't remember. Hi, Jeannie. I'm glad you made it too, Jeannie. So I don't know if it's going to distress the marks. I want it to distress the marks as well. Oops. Like the black marks. I think here we're getting some black bubbles. I think it's disrupting the Posca. It doesn't look like it's disrupting the Sharpie so much because Sharpie is alcohol based. This will be a fun experiment. So let's let that dry. Okay, we'll give that a few minutes to dry. And see, it's quite purple. So we'll see what happens with that. So I'm gonna let that dry. He used a hair dryer. I'm just gonna let it sit for a bit, and then I might use a dryer of some sort. Okay, now we're going to take this one. Let's just use water, acrylic ink with acrylic paint, and then sploosh some water and like dab it and see what we think. I just want to put a piece of paper under that so you guys can see, it better. So the day Mom had surgery, which was the Monday, I was there from 9 a.m. Well, I'd already been in emergency with her most of the day Sunday. And then I was with her from 9 a.m. This looks crooked. 9 a.m. to about midnight. So I was pretty tired yesterday, but I feel actually not too bad today. Let's use the same color just for fun. Actually, let's use two. You could try alcohol inks. I just used those last week, so I'm going to just take a break, but I don't know that the bubbles would disrupt the alcohol ink. Let's do an ombre on this one. So that's the light blue violet basics fluid. And just do a bit of an ombre with this. Feels like there's a hair. There is a hair. There we go. You can see the Posca is sort of resisting the paint a little bit. It's still a bit wet maybe, but that's okay because we're just making collage papers. Hi, Christine. Yeah, Mom was doing pretty good when I saw her today. She's a tough cookie. You'd think like she's not a very big person. Like you'd think she'd not be very strong, but she's very strong-willed, that's for sure. So I'm just putting a little bit of water, and then we're letting it do that. That's kind of neat. And then I'm just going to use paper towel to just, or maybe I'll use paper. Let's use a bit of paper to just kind of blot it a bit. Yeah, she's a tough cookie. Last night before I left, I said to her, well, Mom, you're very brave. I'm very proud of you. I hope that, ooh, look at that. I hope that I can be as strong and as brave as you someday. And she said, oh, you don't want to go through this. I said, no, I don't want to go through this, but I hope I can be as brave as you are. So that took off maybe a bit too much paint. Let's just dab with a paper towel just a bit. Just want some peeking through. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. This is super wet, the one with the bubbles. So I'm gonna use my heat gun, but from a very, very high place. I have to sneeze. Cover your ears. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't have a mute button. Okay. I don't usually use my heat gun. I'm going to just put it like really, really high. So it's going to be loud. So it's popping those bubbles, but the bubbles are looking just a lot like the water looks. That's very soupy. Should we pick up a little bit of that? Just kiss it a little bit with the paper towel. I'm not sure if that's going to look very bubbly. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. She can be sweet. She's usually sweet, but she can be feisty. She can be feisty. When she gets an idea in her head, then yeah, quite a bit of water right there. So, like I said earlier, this is the bubbles is from Drew Steinbrecher, Berger. I don't remember his name. I'm going to link it. I'll link it below. But the Coleen, the scrap chick, is the one that sent me a copy, a link to the video. Okay, so I think we're going to have to just, I don't want to put too much air. Let's just let that sit a little bit. I mentioned that while things were drying, I could maybe show you guys my magazine journal. So this is how this one's looking so far. I'm not sure how much of the bubbles gave effect. And then this is the one that we just used water. So it's neat how it kind of made the paint dissipate, but it, you know, didn't seem to affect the Posca too much. So let me just put that aside. Hi, Diane. So at Dee she was showing her magazine journals as like a gateway to reverse collage. So I pulled mine out. I'll move that over here. But even this first print is kind of cool. It's still really wet, but that's kind of a neat mark making effect. Hi, Lydia. Maybe we'll do a pickup with the Carnival wet strength tissue to do some collage. So this was my first magazine reverse collage book. And I don't know if I did a date. I feel like it was 2018. And there's a full flip through on my channel. So basically, like this doorway was here, and I added this stairs and these people, these dogs were here. Everything else was added. This is I think the worst page. It was too dark, and I added tissue that wasn't very good. And then the robots were here, and then I added this robot arm. I think the words merging man and machine were here, but I added these other things and some stamping. I put like Gattaca type of stamping. Thanks, Christine. And then this is getting into gel printing. I think this is mostly paint scraping on here, and then these shapes, those were gel printed. And then this is collaged on top, and you can't really see the background coming through. So here you can see a bit of the words coming through from the magazine, but you don't have to keep the magazine coming through. Here you just see a hint of the background, like the words, but everything else is added. That's a jelly print. This is just painty acrylic paint, and then I just kind of drew something. I totally obliterated the background except for the word life and these little trees. Hey, Dee, I'm showing my magazine, my mixed media magazine playground. And then this is my page of blue. We're just waiting for some paint to dry on the gel plates. So there's some, I don't know, there's like just different drawings I did. Some of it's gel prints. Like this is a gel print. I probably, when I did my flip through, if you look for the video, oh, Dee, that's very sweet. Thanks so much. Thank you very much. That's really sweet. Thank you for the super chat. This, there's a guy here, so I just traced him in black, and then I collaged in a bunch of different pictures. He was on white. I don't remember what was here, but I covered that black, and I just put some fun little, I don't even know where these pictures were from. They're from like a different magazine. And this was a building that was there, and this was a garden. So this is more reverse collage. So I painted out the grass. I added this planet and did a Dee Dee style that. Oh, thanks, Dee Dee. And this is a sticker I got from someone. So I added a few planets. These are not gel prints, I don't think. This has some jelly printed papers and then some giraffes. I think she was here, but everything else was added. I like the pattern on her skirt. Hi, K-Berg. And then this was pretty much everything was sort of painted out, and then I did a collage using gel printed papers for the leaves and the flowers, and then I just added Spring Delight, but those were jelly printed papers. Here's the chocolate. That was what was on the page. So I took some of the designs that were on the chocolate and I kind of drew them going off the page, and I wrote chocolate. I think, Christine, this is probably your favorite page, I would guess. Am I right? This is a page of washi tape. I just threw washi tape everywhere. And then she's from a knitting magazine from the 70s. And I threw her on there and I made a little washi tape purse. And washi, take me away. And this one, I think these coffee bags were here. So then I painted out, added these coffee cups, and did some practice doing my Dee Dee swirly mist. And again, this was a long time ago, guys. I think this was 2018. And I don't know, I don't think there's anything original showing from the magazine here. Yeah, so I collaged on the animals and some gel prints. I did some scraping. This was, I don't know if that was I don't think that's a jelly print on there. I think it's just paint scraping and then stamping. This is a coloring page that I did. Here, I think the table was here and she was here. So I just added some cats and I collaged on a napkin and then a little fox face. And there is a whole flip through of this way back in my channel. And then this was inspired by Dee Dee's napkin journal where she had the Juliet Crane ladies. So I didn't have a Juliet Crane book, so I just drew my own Juliet Crane style person with like antlers. And this page, I think, had, it did say wild at heart, and I think it was about foraging mushrooms and stuff. And then I drew this little owl and collaged him on. Or is it a stamp? I think it's a stamp. And then I colored it and I extended it. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Beth. Yeah, the fox, hey? Foxy lady. And then this is a Dee Dee style. Now, is anything on here original? I think this thing was on the page, this, whatever this gold thing is. And then I painted it out black. I added a collage on a galaxy, added on these things and the lady and the watch, Dee Dee style. And I did the nebulization with the colored pencils. This is a trip down memory lane. On this one, the robot arm was here. And I collaged in, is that right? Or is it the girl there? No, the robot arm was not there. Was it? I feel like it's here, but I feel like here it's cut out. Maybe I cut out the page. I don't remember. And then this girl is part of the magazine. So a lot of painty, scrapey papers. Our paint's drying pretty well. This guy was here, so I just painted him out, added some die cuts, did some inking. I think it said how robots will take change, but I put an R for charge, and I collaged in the extra robots. This magazine was like a local magazine. I think it's called Alive, and it's like I actually cut it down, so it's like a regular size magazine, and I cut it using the metal ruler, like Dee Dee said, and the X-Acto knife, and I cut it into like a square shape. So this girl was on the cover. I just sort of painted out things. Let's see. And I didn't glue any pages together. And then this, you can kind of see the red and the pink is the background. And I scraped on the paint, and then I drew this guy. And here, there's a chandelier. So this was like a living room scene. And then by the time I finished, I could sort of see this little Japanese guy. So I drew him in there and added stamping and drawing. Yes, the pages have a life of their own. Yeah, where you can't remember what was what, right? So I remember she was here and these two people were here, and she had this camera. She was actually holding that. So I added these old-timey, there's that on there. I can't remember. I think there's a building here. I added these. I think it said OU, pictures of you. So I painted out this background. This background I didn't really paint out. And then this one, I think these buildings and this bridge was here, and these cliffs were here. So then or did I glue those in? I don't remember, but that's an earring. And then it's a good, Dee explains, like it's a good way to practice painting, color matching, doing like little finger painted clouds. She was here, and I added a galaxy sword, and I gave her some extra jewelry, and I painted elf ears. Yeah, the square format's good. It's fun. And there's that same model. And then I just stick a camel on this guy's face. I think it's the same guy that was here because the hair looks the same. So I put a camel or a llama on there. What I like about you, and then this is just some paint. And then I think I took a stencil and kind of just did a flop off. And then I painted out everything. Same guy. This time I stuck a bird head on him, and then I drew a paisley pattern because his jacket has paisley. The girls were here. I just added painty background, a die cut window, and some ink. I hope you guys aren't finding this too boring. This was my first ever successful image transfer. Oh, I wrote a date, 2019. This is a jelly printed paper. And then, yeah, that was my first magazine. Yeah, you could upcycle a free magazine. And then this was shoes and purses and stuff. So I put them in grass, and I made the shoe into a bee. I collaged in this section of flowers, and then I practiced painting out flowers that were similar. And then these bees are die cuts. I think the background must have been yellow because this sunglasses are yellow. And I just left the yellow showing through the bees, and those are painted. I painted those flowers. Crinkly paper. This was, I don't think any other than, no, there's nothing original showing on this, except maybe the yellow background and the blue. Yeah, I think the yellow and the blue background were original, and then the rest is like painty, scrapey, and gluey. So this, you could see, was a house, right? Because this magazine had fashion, had houses, had like all sorts of things, because it was a local magazine. So I left the foyer alone, and then I painted it out and threw a clock in here and just kind of did wispies. There was one pot or two pots, and I think I added more. And then this one has some 3D flowers. So this was a living room with a coffee table. So I painted out everything except for the brick like the stone walls, and then I put a different collage in each doorway, and then it's like a little tea party happening. This is one of those Catherine Anderson doors that Dee Dee was showing on Monday. She showed some of the Catherine Anderson books. So this is one of her doors. And then I think I had tried to print out something and my printer was weird, but I liked how it looked, so I stuck it in there. And then this is added on. Oh, these, I think this is original, these little lights at the top and a window. I think it was another house scene. So I just kind of did that. And then this is another washi tape page, and I glued on this lady from that same knitting magazine. And I'm going to washi that tape right out of my hair. Oh, this page was a struggle. There's so many layers on this. I could not get it to where I wanted. I drew her. I didn't like her. I don't know if I stamped on butterflies, but there's some texture paste. This was a mess. This one, I like. This is the chandelier. I don't remember if this bird was there. I can't recall. This is a piece of Burrier off paper, I think. So a lot of painting, and I collaged, I think, this little square here on, I think, and then I extended it. I don't remember. Hi, Marguerite. I think I saw you earlier. This was the decor. There was like some records on the wall, and this was like a poster, but then I kind of, I can see a couch in here. Here's a couch down at the bottom. So it's mostly paint, I think, this one. That's my cat, Abby. That's Devin Rex cat. That's where the name of my channel comes from. So that's my Devin Rex cat, and she was in like one of those pumpkins, you know, those cloth pumpkins. She jumped in there, and I took her picture. So I printed it out, and then I don't remember. I threw this. This is a piece of collage. This is collaged in. Looks like there's, I think it's like a house, like inside a living room or something again. But I just added lots of layers and stuff to that. This, I don't think there's anything original. This is all jelly prints. And I made a hummingbird. This one, she was here. I remember her. Everything else is added. Oh, she was here, and these words are hard. I'm tired. Words are hard. What are those called? You know, you're in the kitchen and you have those pendant lights. So then I collaged on this hand and this watch, and this is like a landscape, like a topograph. Oh, Venus. I can see it says Venus. So lights, yes, Beth, lights. And then this is another one of my early image transfers. That's the original lady, and then that's the transfer onto, looks like tracing paper. And I just glued it on top of the magazine. And then the lyrics to Purple Rain, and then you can see that's more lights from the living room. Yeah, it is very tactile. This rocket was here, and I can't tell if this astronaut was here. I think it was about vintage toys. This one I added. I think that guy was here already, and this was here, and everything else was painted out. Thanks, Dee Dee. You're the inspiration for all of this. And then this one, what was here? There's a living room with some lights. I don't remember if this light bulb was there. I don't know. I don't know what was real. What's real and what's added. And then that's the back page. I know these ladies were here. When every step turns heads, this was an ad for a mall around in the city. And I added this piglet and some jelly prints and a fish because they kind of went with their clothes. Well, thanks, Dee Dee. You inspired this. So hashtag blame Dee Dee. There's a little fox here showing. All right, let's see if our jelly plates are dry. And if you missed it, on Saturday, I went on stream with Lindy K Designs. I think I'm saying that wrong. And we were working, she wanted to play with pan pastels. Hi, Janice. She wanted to play with pan pastels on the gel plate. So this was one of the ones I did. I did a transfer and then I colored it in with pan pastels. I used a stencil. So check out her channel and see what we got up to. Okay, let's see. This looks dry. I don't know. Well, yeah, there's a few bubbles, like a bubble shapes. I think we should use like a really bright pink to pick that up. Is it fully dry? Pretty dry. Let's see the other one. This one, other one's still wet. Other one's still wet. So let's pick this one up. Maybe, la la la. This is fun. I'm glad I'm here with you guys. I'm so glad. I'm thinking pink, but let's do fluorescent pink. Thanks, Dee Dee. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming and thanks for the prayers. I think I'm going to have to buy more of this paint here. Thanks for all the inspiration, Dee Dee, too. Yeah, I'm going to have to start a list of paints to buy more of. All right, I need a piece of paper, a papier. So this started with, some of the paint is not dry, but that's okay. We're just gonna see what happens. I could tell it was picking up some of that blue. We'll see what happens. It might not pick up everything. Did you see how it was like grabbing the paint off? That means the paint underneath wasn't really dry. So those yummy layers are marks with either a Posca pen or a Sharpie pen. And then we put a coat of blue, aqua green on this one. This one is a coat of both. And then this one, we put bubbles, inky bubbles on top of the paint while it was wet. And then this one, we just put water. And I still feel like I still feel crooked. I think it's because my phone is kind of at an angle in here. And it's kind of going droopy, droopy, droopy. So it's going to look something like that. So hopefully all the layers come off and then we will get that bubble, some of the bubble texture. So there's the bubbles. Okay, so we'll let that dry. Hopefully it picks up everything. And this one is not dry. There's a big bubble, a big puddle right there. Other than that, it's pretty dry. Maybe we should use quinacridone nasal gold on this one. Hi, Messy Dye. Quick pop in. Yes, you must be ready for bed. Should we do quinacridone to pink? Oh, let's do quinacridone and the magenta. I had the magenta. Oh, this one. We'll do these two. Quinacridone magenta and quinacridone nickel azo gold. We'll do an ombre olé. Olé. Ooh. I probably should have done them opposite. I should have done the quinacridone here but whatever. And that's wet, so let's hope this is dry enough. That is a lovely color, though, I must say. Oh, it's sort of pulling off a bit. That's okay. Let's put this on. I don't think that corner is going to pick up, but we'll try it. Oh, it's only 8 a.m. there. Whoops, my bad. Whoops. I never said time zones were my, my forte, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Cranberry jelly. So if it all pulls, remember this plate's very yellow. So it pulled off the paint here. It pulled off some of that blue. So that's going to be white. Let me just wipe this off with a baby wipe. So we're doing mark making to relieve stress. Can mark making relieve stress? Yes, I think it can. And I just cleaned this brayer when I was on vacation, so I don't want it to get all crusty, bumpy. So I'm just going to give it a good little wipe. So I think the advantage of doing the marks directly on the gel plate versus, doing a print and then putting the marks on is you get kind of distressed marks. Okay, let's see. Is this one ready? Yeah, it kind of is ready. Just let that dry. Still feeling a little bit cold. Okay, okay. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So there's a bit left on the plate of the marks, but that's okay. So here we have this one. So you can see, you see some of the bubble texture. Let's see if I can find an example. Well, here you can see the bubbles. That's from the bubbles. Now there's also some black bubbles. Where are they? I don't see those so much. Here you can see some bubbles. Diane's playing with some stamps and watercoloring for the first time. Yes, what is IOD? I'm not sure what that is. So you can see how the Posca paint pen got more distressed than the Sharpie marker. Like these didn't really distress at all. Even though that area was super cool. But I think the Posca is a nicer effect because it's more grungy. Iron Orchid Designs. Oh, okay. I don't know that I'm familiar with them. Let's see if this one's ready. Crack the edges. They make the best molds. Okay, I think this one's ready and it's looking pretty cool, I must say. So I'm gonna link Drew Steinbrecher. I can't say his name. So he didn't do mark making first, he did the bubbles. Let's see. Ooh, I like it. When the it almost is kind of like red where the two paints mix. It gave a really nice red. Oh, that's fantastic. I like it. I don't like where it didn't pick up, where the paint came off, but we can get rid of that. But that is some yummy, yummy. So that's the this blue that looks kind of periwinkle. That's this one, the light blue violet in the Liquitex acrylic fluid. And then this one here is the aqua green. And then we picked it up with the Quin gold and the magenta. And where the Quin gold and magenta mix, we got this really nice red color. And then there's our marks. So these marks are all the Posca marks, and you can see how kind of distressed the marks are. They're not perfect, so I like that. The triangles, and here I like where the white's showing through. Here, not so much. It's just not very interesting. I do like the Liquitex fluids. They're not as thin as these ones. They sound thin, but they feel a bit thicker to me. So yeah. All right, should we do some more marks and some more bubbles? Oh, the other thing is you can see here when I spritzed it with water, the paint kind of dissipated off the plate and it kind of collected in behind the marks. So the marks are black, but then they do have like that blue color around them. And here they're black, but then they do have that bit of aqua green within them. It's very interesting. I like it. All right, let's do the other plate because it's not so yellow. And I'll put that paper under here so you guys can see it better. Yeah, I like the bright colors. So we have some marks on there, but we're not going to worry. I think that's okay. Let's do kind of like some Zentangly marks, but kind of like macro. And I don't think I'm going to add any extra marks in there. I think we'll let that dry and then we'll try that bubble technique again. Maybe we'll use like green and not sure. We can use the green. All right, let's do something here. So I think I'm not going to use the Sharpie. I'm just going to use the Posca. We could use a white Posca or a white. I'm not sure how. Let's use black, white, and gold, and let's just play with it. Do I have a gold pen. I do have it in my grabbies. Let me grab a grabby. Okay. So let's do, sorry, everything looks so crooked, wonky. What if we do circles? Circles are always fun. Hi, Lindy K. I was just mentioning that people should check out your channel, especially from Saturday when I was on as a guest and we played with the pan pastels. Today we're doing mark making to alleviate stress and anxiety. Hi, Barbie. Whoops. Oh, I forgot to put my paper under this one. Oh, we're going to use, this time we'll use the wet strength carnival tissue. I forgot I was going to use it. I did mention I was going to use it, so we will use that. But just some random circles. Is the quality still good? I'm just using the YouTube live button and not StreamYard. I'm just not happy with the StreamYard quality since I don't pay for StreamYard. I just don't think it's very good. What if we do just do some star kind of shapes in some of them? This is gold. And let's use some white. Do some white dots. Boing, 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 boing. By the time we get this one finished, then we should have the that other plate clean. Not clean, dry. Okay, that's good. All right. Let that dry. So let's use this one again. I'm enjoying this color. Let's use this color and then we'll do the bubbles. Good. I'm glad the quality looks good. Should we do, we should do an ombre. Oh well. We're not going to do one because I've already got the paint all the way across. I wonder if I did the bubbles. I think when Drew Stein, I feel like his was dry. Or was it wet? Actually, I think it was wet. So let's try the bubbles again. So this is the acrylic Bombay, not acrylic, Bombay ink, India ink, which is a permanent thing. And then a bit of Dawn dish soap and just a touch of water. And And I don't think I'll put as much on, so it's not so watery. Also, when he did it, he didn't do marks on it first, and he didn't put. Ah! Whoops! I tilted my cup too much. Spillage. I'm watching the replay over there. Oh well. No use crying over spilt ink. Yes, it's me blowing. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Barb, what's that song? Tiny bubbles in the wine make me happy, make me feel fine. I think we'll just do, we won't do as many bubble areas. We'll just do a few areas so that we can tell, like, oh, that part's bubbles. It's purple. Yeah, because I put the purple Bombay ink in there. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. You can see here that the bubbles are turning black because they're dissolving the Poscas a little bit. Even though Poscas are permanent, when you first put them down, they're not permanent. They do move. Yes, Beth, my cup runneth over. 100%. So we're gonna let that dry. We'll do the heat gun from very, 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 very high up. I don't usually use a heat gun on the gel plate, but oh, you know what? I'm not going to do it because it's drying the bubbles too fast. I'm just going to let that sit. I'm just going to let that sit. Right over there. Let's see if this one's ready. Okay. Bubbles on cyanotype. Yeah, I've used, when I did my cyanotype video, if you check out under videos, I did wet cyanotype, and I did use dish soap bubbles, and it's cool. And vinegar. Can't remember what else. All right, let's do magenta on this one to start. Oh no, I was going to do, yeah, we're going to do green on the other one. So let's do magenta as our base. Do you guys want me to do bubbles on this one, or do you want me just to do the water? What do you guys think? Do you want bubbles or just water? But we have to pick quick. I don't think the purple, I don't know if the purple showed. I don't know if it affected the color at all when we did the purple ink. It might have. Might have, I'm not sure. Well, no one's answering, so I'm just going to do bubbles because I need to use this up. I'm going to use a spatula this time. Well, my Diane, you can rewatch it, but I was just it's my second time doing cyanotype. I had fun. Buble. Yes, we were having buble with bubbles. Oops. Buble with bubbles. I'm going to try to cut down on my buble. I don't know why. I don't know why I want to. Doesn't want to get off my spatula. Maybe I'll just do the straw. It's alive. Thanks for joining me, everybody. This is fun. I needed some fun. They do cyanotype as a business. Yes, well, they would know much more than I, that's for sure. I think I've got purple on my lip. Do not eat this. Whoop. I did like this print that when we just kind of smushed down on it. I hope my lips don't look like that. Okay, let's let that sit. I'm going to wipe my face and my mouth. Ugh. Okay, the other one's still very wet. Let's use a dryer on that one now, or maybe we do a little bit of a, let's put that over here. It's very wet here. Let's use our heat gun, but really high up. I like how there's bubble, essence of bubble here. Sorry it's so loud. I think you get better results if you let it dry naturally, but I don't have the time. And we're going to use, like we said earlier, I'm going to try to use the wet strength carnival tissue. I'm just going to lightly touch that down there. Pick up a little bit of that water. I don't want to get rid of that bubble feeling though, but I think I might have. So we're just playing. I'm not an expert, just it's my first time trying the bubbles on the gel plate. So here I like the bubble texture. And there, this is just getting smushy. Okay, let's do, get the heat gun from very, very high up. Ideally, I would get out a cold air dryer. So I don't think we're getting any, I don't feel like we're getting much purple. Well, maybe a little bit of purple from the Bombay ink. You definitely have to let that dry longer. I don't want to do a heat gun. Let's pull this paper out and see what it looks like. There's that purple, that purple ink went underneath. That's kind of cool though. Looks like a monster. Let that dry. So that does look bubbly. what you could do, if you had time, is you could put your, once this is dry, do another layer of paint and then put more bubbles. I think that would look neat. We could put this color and then we could add more bubbles and then pick it up with like a something that has some shine in it, like maybe a metallic orange. I think that might be cool. But we have to let that dry first. That's when doing videos is helpful. So the other plate's very, very wet. Let's use the heat gun / dryer from really high up. I'm probably like 2 feet away from the gel plate. Or maybe we should use this this color, the quinacridone, magenta. It's pretty good. Let's do it. Let's go for it, people. I don't know if the soap from the, I feel like the soap from the bubbles is affecting the paint and making it pull up. See those spots there? So I'm going to leave it like that. We're going to add some more bubbles and let that dry. I like your attitude, Barbie. Let's go for it. Try to remember not to tip my cup over. Oops. I watched a really bad sci-fi movie when my mom was getting her surgery. I had my iPad with me. I watched Ugly. Uglies? Ugly? Oh man, it was bad. Hi, Dana. I like these little bubbles. I want these little bubbles on there. Come on, little bubble. Come on, little bubble. Like these ones. Okay, let's let that sit. It's very subtle. I'm not sure if it's going to show through or not. It might only show where this, like where the paint, the blue paint started coming off. Where did I get my YouTube name from? I'll show you. I got my YouTube name from when my kids were little and they wanted to do a channel to do Beyblading on the channel. And I didn't want them to show their face or have their names or anything. So I created a channel and we had to pick a name, right? So what we picked was, just looking for it here. We picked our cat. The cat we had was a Devon Rex cat. And that's a picture of her there. So it was called Devon Rex, or yeah, Devon Rex 4, because Devon Rex was taken. So Devon Rex 4 was the channel name. And then so they did like 2 or 3 videos, whatever, not very many. And then when I started thinking to do an art channel, I just used the same, I already had the account, so I just added the word art, Devon Rex 4 art. So yeah, not very, I don't know if it's a very interesting story or not. All right, so we're letting that dry, letting those bubbles dry. I don't know that those bubbles are gonna show up too much. Oh, this other plate's really wet. I put lots of bubbles on there. So I'm not sure the bubbles do more. Well, I guess they do more than they do more than just water, because this one definitely looks more bubbly than this one that we did just with the water, right? This looks dendritic because the water affected the paint. But this one does look bubble-ish, I would say. I recently was looking up curly-haired Sphinx cat, and Devon Rex was in the explanation. Yeah, so she had short hair. She didn't really shed her mane hair, and it was soft, and it was kind of wavy. It was pretty cute. She was a cute cat. She's very social. Devon Rexes are very social. I like the bubbles there. I feel like just letting that dry au naturel. Because you can see here, the ones that dried, here you can just see them. Look there, can you see that? It's just a little bit of a texture. Oh, I want to let that dry naturally. Bye, Jeannie. Take care. Okay, let's let that dry. What else can we do while we're waiting? Leave it dry and catch us up on a video. Yeah, I could do that. We'll see. If it's not dry by the time we're done, then I'm going to pull it with the metallic orange off camera, and maybe I put up a short or something, and then I can show you guys next week what it looks like. Are you leaving, Marguerite? This one too. Let's use the heat gun on that one, because most of the bubbles are popped. Ah, ooh, that almost slid right off the table. Okay, but it didn't. All right, so let's bring this up high. I'm doing something I say never to do. I say never use a heat gun. I'm using a heat gun. Was it this one we're going to pick up with orange? I think the other one looked cool with orange too. Some of this paint was really thick though. I'll bring you guys lower. Whoops. I'm going to just fan it off camera. I'll just put these here for you guys to have something to look at while so I'm just going to take like a piece of cardstock and just kind of fan it like that. I just don't want to make anybody sick. So if you just came in recently, I also showed one of my magazine journal that I did like 2018, 2019. Dee Dee was showing her magazine journals this morning, so it inspired me to show where mine started off. Okay, it's getting a bit drier. We're going to let it sit a little bit longer. So the other thing, Dee Dee was showing the smaller journals, which I have a few of those that I've started, but I don't have a lot done in them. So like this one, I started, and I don't have a lot done, but like here's an example. This lady was here and this was here, and I painted it out and I added some gel prints. But I haven't done a lot. The thing with these though, I worry about posting because it's got other people's artwork in it, right? Like I feel like you have to alter it a lot. So these are fun to play with. I don't know that I would post them that often. And then this one I think I won from Dee Dee in a giveaway. So if you have leftover paint from something, you could just scrape it down. And then I added some art by Marlene here. You could use it as inspiration. Like I could maybe use that to like draw something. So for mark making, I mean, we could draw on the gel plate. We could draw a face, use pan pastels. The possibilities are truly, truly endless. Hi, Sherry. Lydia uses a small clip-on fan when she needs to speed up drying. Clip to your work table and no heat. Yes, that is a very smart idea. Usually, because where I live it's very dry, I don't usually have to worry about things drying fast. But in this case, but that's looking cool. There's definitely some bubble action going on. Why don't we pull out a small gel plate and just do some more marks? Or we could rip some of these up and do some collage. I don't want to rip this one up though. This one's too cool. But we could rip this up. We could put it in. I've got this little book that Sophia sent me. She sent me this journal that she totally, she put in really good pamphlet stitch signatures. I've only done a little bit in it, like this lady I think I added this backdrop. So we could rip out some pieces. What if we do that? We could rip out, or Sophia does these cool loopy loops. We could do some loops. Well, thanks, Lindy. Just gonna go. And I did show my collage that I done last week with the green. I did add some grunginess to it. So they're starting to build a house beside us, so you might hear some. You might hear a little bit of activity there. So we could do those two like that. We could do. I'll just cut this. Kind of like that. What, I want to say, is that 4x4? Yes, I do have a hair dryer I could use on a cool setting. So that's centimeters. Where's my big plastic ruler? Oh, this is one. So yeah, basically 4x4. Yesterday, Kathy Berg was doing some art cards, and she cut them in 4x4, and I said, oh, that's a cool size. I don't think I've ever done cards that size. And then I was like, oh, wait a second. I think I have a journal. I have a few journals that are 4x4, like this one that Sophia started for me with her gel prints. 2 4x4. 4x4 on the floor. Okay. We still have this left over. Marguerite has a 3-inch fan from the Dollarama that has a USB. That's cool. I kind of like that. Let's glue this on here. I'm just going to put this there. I'm going to glue it that way. Let's use some Eileen's tacky. So I do have my tap dancing tonight, which should be fun. And then tomorrow I'll go visit Mom again. How's your leg doing? Your foot doing, Sherry? Oh wait, no, that's a different Sherry. Never mind. I got my Sherrys confused. You're the Canadian Sherry. Is it feeling like spring where you are, Sherry? So I cut that a little bit bigger in 4x4 so I can trim the edge off. Okay, and then we'll do that. And this is very gluey. I'm going to just grab a different one. This is paint, so I'm definitely going to use the Eileen's tacky. And then I'm going to spread it with the glue stick. Diane says, Diane's in BC, and they're seeing their first crocuses. Wow. Yeah, we still have snow. So I'm hoping one of those plates is going to dry. We can do one more pull before we go. And then the magenta one with all the circles, we're going to pull, I'll pull that one later and share it with you guys later. All right. So that's a collaboration with Sophia Button. And where's my lid? I'm notorious for like losing my lids. There it is. And then we can cut off the excess. Usually it's best to wait till that glue dries, but whatever. Okay. And it would be fun to put, got some glue there. We could do, so I could use some Inktense here to like grungify up that area. Lydia says her tulips are starting to break through the ground in Connecticut. That's awesome. And then you could find another spot for. So a lot of these papers are all Sophia's papers. And that's a paper, one of my papers I glued on there. So we could do this. We could put this paper on here like that. It's kind of like a little portal. We get that. So we're just waiting for that other plate to dry, and it looks like it's almost dry. So this was a piece of that origami paper that I was gel printing on. So that looks cool. I like it. I think the thing with these fun little journals and abstract collages, for me, the fun is in not overthinking it. Once I start overthinking it, then it's like, it's not fun anymore. Hi, Rachel. Good to see you. I'm on at a different time than usual, but I'm glad you guys found me. I need to cut that though, because it is too big. It's gonna not turn. There we go. It is a fun size for a journal. So I sent Sophia a similar size journal using a cover that I made from a piece of paper she had sent me that I altered using the Gelliplate. And then she's finished, and I put my jelly printed papers in there, and she's already finished adding to her journal. So that could be finished. I mean, we could add some grunginess, or we could just leave it. I'd probably be tempted to add some grunginess. Let's just do, this Posca's a bit big. Let's do a little bit of black. Is it getting late? Are you in the UK, Rachel? Where are you? And then normally I would spray it, but I don't know. This paper under here is like copy paper. So let's just kind of smoosh it. Kind of distress it a little bit so it's not too perfect. There we go. And then we could use, once that dries, we could use some Inktense to maybe smooth it a bit more. Add a bit more grungy. So, you know, just doing mark making, then you can add it to collage. You could add it to your journals without intending. I didn't go, oh, here's a page. I want to make a painty paper, and I want the painty paper to be black and teal and magenta, right? You just kind of make painty papers. I'm gonna just grab a black Inktense because I do want it to look more grungified. This one. So this is similar to how I grungified that green print that I showed, that green collage. I can show it again in a minute, but so some Inktense pencils, and then I'm going to use water. Barbie. When she dies, she wants to make sure that they fill her casket with scraps. Oh, you guys are awesome. Okay, that water brush didn't have any water in it, so I need a paintbrush. A bit of water. Oh man, you guys make me laugh. Kathy says that feels like spring today, and tomorrow they're getting snow. Yeah. So I'm just spreading that Inktense pencil. And then I took out one that's kind of green aquamarine, and we'll add to here. Now I have to be careful because here the paper's still a little bit wet. So I'm just adding a little bit more. Oops, I just about dipped in that purple. So that's cool. We could even do the bottom. There. So that's one that we finished. Well, finished. We could still add to it. And then this one, so we could take the ink. No, that's bark. That's not even black. Maybe that's why it looked weird. Where's the black? Ink black. Here we go. So we could do this. And I think it just gives it like a little bit more depth. I know some people don't like Inktense pencils, but I really like them. I think they work well for me, because once you activate them and they dry, they're fairly permanent, I would say. And then you could add some words on this if you feel like, oh, it's not quite finished. You could add some words. You can do this. We could add some Inktense to the end here, to the edge, to gruntify the edge there. We could add more marks on top of that. One thing I'd like to do more of is grid journaling. We could even add like some detail to this one. Just because it's, it's a final print doesn't mean we can't keep adding to it, right? I'm not going to jump in with my hands. I would. Inktense, I like it better with the paintbrush. So that's going to dry. So that's kind of cool. I like it. All right, let's see if this other one's done. It looks pretty dry to me. So we got all those dried bubbles. So like I said, I don't know if the soap does something to the consistency of the paint that affects it. So do I want orange, or do I want, maybe instead of the metallic orange, maybe we want this quinacridone nickel azo gold. Maybe that would really pop. Let's do that. The other one I'll do orange, and I'll show you guys next week, and I'll try to post a short about it. So on the last one, I'm going to use this orange, metallic orange, on this print. Oh my gosh, it almost fell off again. On this print, on this gel plate that's still drying, this one here, I'm going to pick it up with this metallic orange. That's the plan. I'm going to stick to it. All right, so let's use this Quin Nickel Azo Gold. We were talking at Lindy's. Hi, Dar. We're talking at Lindy's stream on Saturday. I was her guest, and we're talking about. She said, "I really like that color." I said, "Well, they don't make it anymore." So I know the transparent red iron oxide is a pretty good substitute, and Christine Cat and Paste was in chat at that stream, and she agreed, and she also added another one. Nickel azo yellow, I think she said, is a good substitute. Oh yes, we're going to use the um, with the wet strength carnival tissue. If I can find my wet strength carnival tissue. Does it sit here? This doesn't feel like it. This does though. That's too big. Is this one the right size? That's too small. We'll cut it down. We'll use this one and then we'll cut it. Okay, so it's dry. I wonder if the soap is kind of tacky, so maybe I have to use like a lot of paint so that I don't have to over brayer it. So I'm going to try, hopefully that's enough paint. I'm going to try to just not over brayer. Oh gosh, I don't think I had enough paint. And I'm over brayering and it's getting started coming off again. So I don't know if I'm crazy about the bubbles. I don't know how he got such good coverage. I'm finding that as soon as I start to brayer it, the paint starts coming off, even though it was dry. And this is not going to pick everything up. I can tell, like there's areas that were not wet enough. So that's going to be an opportunity to add more colors. That's how you got to look at it. When something doesn't work, it's an opportunity to do something else. So I'm just going to cut this. Oh, it's a really good cutting job, wasn't it? I'll just leave that part. So yeah, I don't think I had enough paint on there. So I don't know, like this bubble business is okay. I don't know if it's worth, not sure. I'm not sure it's worth the finickiness of the pickup. Maybe I had too much dish soap. Yeah, see, like it's really going to be patchy. Like it didn't pick up anything here or here. It's not going to be a full print. Yes, sometimes not enough paint can produce a nice print. Yes, and then we'll have like, I don't like it. Like it drives me crazy, but I think we're just going to go ahead and pull it. It's not, and then we'll do another pickup. See how it's like, it just was kind of goopy. I had that problem on last Wednesday, but I do like certain areas. And then when you glue this down, whatever you glue down on will show through. So I do love this area here. I do like the bubbles there. That is kind of cool. Is that focused? You guys see that? I love this. This is okay. This here you can see the bubbles, but I really love this area. So that's already dry. So let's pick that all up with something else. But we should maybe add some marks to it. Let's not. Let's just pick it up. So let's just use that metallic orange. which I put somewhere. So this will be our last pull, and then we'll do, oh, let's do orange and this pink. We'll do a review of the prints, and then I have a big mess to clean up. I'm gonna try to get my paper out. I'm gonna use just regular paper. Well, the 32-pound hammer mill. Let's do this side first. We can kind of go with the flow of the print. Trying to get all this off. My brayer off paper is looking pretty cool. I've had the same one for a while now. I think I should save it. That's kind of neat. You guys have wind warnings, Star and Kathy? Okay. I'll show you guys my brayer off paper. It's looking pretty good. So I've had this down for a couple weeks. It's just the newsprint that I use on my desk. This is the other side. This is the back side. So I think I'll turn it over and start burring off on this side. And then this one here, I really like that. Okay, so let's go review our prints. Then I'll pull this at the end. So the first one we did was this one with the Sharpie and the Posca pen, and then the bubbles, like the green, the aqua green, then the bubbles, and then we picked it up with the fluorescent pink. And then we used part of this to add to this book here that Sophia made me, that she sent to me. So we put these loopies in, and we added a full piece there. And then we added the leftover to this page I had in progress. This was a piece I used to get excess paint off of that, off of this print, because I just used water, and then I used this to soak up some of the water. And you can see how much of this color, what's this color? Light blue violet. It soaked up a lot of the light blue violet, not so much of the green. So that's why we have a way more green, aqua green. And we have just a little bit of the light blue violet. And then that allowed the background to show through, the pickup colors, the magenta and the quinacridone nickel azure gold. And I do love how you see the background, the color that we had behind the marks. I think that's pretty cool. If you guys can see that. Okay, and then what else did we do? We did those two, and then we did this one that was a bit of a fail, but because it's on wet strength carnival tissue, we can glue it down on something else. To me, this area here is very successful. I love the bubbles there. That's cool. I like that. Thing with wet strength carnival tissue is you can't really tear it crooked. Like you can tear it straight in one direction. You can't really tear it the other very well. It's hard to get like soft tears. But we do see the bubbles. We do see the bubbles. But I just feel like it changes the consistency of the paint. See, that's barely even sticking on there. I might have to seal this with matte medium. And so now we did a pickup. We're going to show the pickup of that in a minute. It's not quite ready. And then we're going to do off camera. I'm going to let this dry 100%. Let all those bubbles dry. And then I'm going to pick it up. Let me put a piece of paper under there. Show you again. It was hard to see. So this was the Posca marks in black, white, and gold. And then the bubbles, and then the magenta, quinacridone magenta paint, and then the bubbles, which have a bit of purple India ink. So we're going to let that dry fully, and then I'm going to pull it with metallic orange. And I don't think I'm going to use the wet strength carnival tissue for that. I'm going to use the just the regular 32-pound hammer mill. And for those that came in late, I did show the collage that I worked on last week. I did show how I actually filmed doing the grungification of this. However, I was in the process of editing it when my mom had her fall, so I didn't really finish editing it, and now I've kind of lost the oomph. But that's adding Inktense and the black Posca, kind of like what I showed you guys on these pages. So a similar technique to grungify it. So, ooh, I almost spilled that green ink all over my desk. We almost had green and purple. I said green ink, purple ink. I almost spilled this purple ink all over my desk. All right. Thanks, Lindy. Okay, let's pull this last one. Oh, it's still, don't think it's ready. Let's just wait a minute. So it's going to look like that. We're not really going to have any bubbles. Maybe here. Yes, Diane, I agree. It gives it a depth, dimension or depth. So I think I showed you guys everything. And then I did a flip through of my magazine journal. Inspired by Dee Dee Willingham. She was here earlier. Let's check out Dee Dee's channel. This feels like it's, there we go. So we're getting most of it off. So we could definitely add more layers to this or cut it up, use it in collage. That's more of a cleanup print. That's the metallic orange with the PBO, that pink PBO iridescent, this one. So that's the metallic orange and the violet blue iridescent. When they mix, they make a nice salmony, shiny color. So that, and I got lots of extra paint on here. I had too much paint on, but I was afraid to over-brayer it because I didn't want it to start picking up stuff. You like it, Diane? I'm glad. Yeah, so it could be used for something. That's for sure. I think to me, my favorite, I think is this one. I think this was my favorite. And that didn't use the soap bubbles at all. That just used the, just water. And I feel like the pickup was easier. So maybe we'll make that our thumbnail. Something like that, hey? Make that our thumbnail. Mark making. Hi, Steph. Diane says it reminds her of a gourd with the waviness. Cool. All right, well, that's it for me. Thanks for coming to my later live stream today. I don't know why everything is so crooked. Maybe I'm crooked. I appreciate you guys coming to my late live stream. Um, Next week, I should be here at my regular time, which is 3 Eastern on Wednesdays. And I'm going to clean up my room, going to work on my scavenger hunt this weekend if I have time. So I'm going to be visiting my mom quite a bit, so I'm not sure how much time. So Kathy, yes, you go down to the basement and you get all your family to art with you in your basement and you stay safe. All right, thanks for coming everybody. Good to see you. I had fun. I needed some play time, and it helped me to feel a little bit better and less stressed. And I'm gonna have a good night's sleep tonight, and I hope you guys all stay safe. And oh, I gotta go tap dancing still, Diane, so I can't rest yet. That's okay, Dar. You didn't have to even come. Like I just, I just want to let you know what was going on. And I appreciate you coming when you did, and I appreciate all my mods and everybody that came and people watching the replay. So have a great night, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, I can't get to the